Hi, everyone. I'm here with Rocky Malphurs, who lives in Florida near Orlando, the site of our 2023 Armlifting World Championships. Rocky, how are you?
Fantastic. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's my pleasure. So we go way back to 2019 when the Olympia was in Orlando, and we met at that contest there. And fast forward 4 years, and who knew? Now that you're going to have the World Championships in your backyard. So why don't you introduce yourself a little bit to the audience who might not have met you? And yeah, let's talk about Orlando and your training and everything going into it.
Yes, first and foremost, what an incredible opportunity to compete at a world stage, uh, an hour and 10 minutes from my home. I mean, uh, that's incredible. And so that's why the Super Series meant so much to me. I really wanted to get into this thing because you don't get to compete on a world stage very often. My name is Rocky Malphurs. I'm from Edgewater, Florida, born and raised actually, which is the New Smyrna Beach area. I belong to Edgewater Fitness here in town. Our club and the gym owner, Gary, has been very, very accommodating towards our grip strength pursuits. We've got a little team together. We've got some really strong, healthy grippers and some up and coming kids that are starting to take interest. So they won't be able to make it this year, but next year we hope to have a couple young men and women that are uh, starting to see the light of grip. And
That's great. Yeah, that's exciting. And you're not underestimating the Edgewater, Florida team there between you and Anastasia and Doug Shimita and Brian, your training partner. I mean, you guys are in contention for some medals. You guys are good.
yeah, we have uh, a couple dedicated days. All the athletes, some of the ones the ones you mentioned, and the ones that uh, are also kind of part of the team, are taking it pretty seriously. I mean, they're hitting it a couple days a week. We hit it yesterday. Like I was telling you pre-record, my fingers starting to come around a little bit, feeling better. My training is mostly regarding the events of the Olympia. So uh, everything feels good and it's on track. I can tell we're excited for future growth of the sport and discipline in this area.
Well, yeah, and it's a pleasure for Armlifting USA to partner with Gary, and you have been a great intermediate introducing me to Gary. So we have a great gym with great quality equipment, pretty much on site in Orlando. Okay. All right, Rocky. Tell me personally. I mean, you just talked about your great Florida team you guys are developing, and obviously that's a work in progress as new people come into the sport. Obviously, since 2019, you've been with us. You've seen the growth in Armlifting USA, right? When you and I first met, we didn't even have a super series. This year, we had a super series with 210 people competing. I mean, just a phenomenal growth in the last 3 years. And I expect the next 3 years, maybe when we're talking again in 3 years, there'll be 500 people in the super series, maybe more. I really expect a massive growth in the sport, but we're here to talk about you. What are your favorite events to participate in and to train for, number one? And number two, as a master's lifter, what drives you to train every week and get after it the way you do? Please and thank you.
Absolutely. The the two favorite lifts that I have, since I'm a deadlifter and squatter at heart, I would have to say is the Rogue bar. The thick bar. A couple good events in that over the previous comps I've done. The Super Series that I did halfway decent. You never do as good as you want or think you're going to do in a competition. That you always want to do more, but I think that bar, the road bar, is one of my favorites. And then also, basically, the Rogue has been feeling really good for me too. The grandfather clock has been um, uh, kind of in tune with my hand size and
Mhm.
my uh, the way that my grip feels strongest, instead of the pinch, but the more of a grip. So I'm really looking forward to excelling in that event in the Worlds.
Yeah, me too. That's one of the events, the vertical lifts, that's not natural for me. It's not one of my best, so I've been working overtime at that one in particular. So I'm hoping to PR at that one too in Orlando because it's not my favorite lift. But I'm putting in the work and the vertical lift is a great test of grip strength. So we're going to see some form of vertical lift in all the major championships from here on out because it's not just about thick bar, right? So whether I'm good at it or not, we're going to see it again and again and again. So I better get good at it. So cool. Well, what drives you as a Masters 50 plus athlete? What drives you to train, in an organized way every, like you said, a couple times a week, you guys are hitting it hard. What drives you, Rocky?
Well, I've been a competitive strength athlete for about the last 10 or 12 years, mostly powerlifting. A little bit of strongman. I did strongman several times. That's an incredible sport, very competitive, and the events I always seemed to do best at were the grip events. Things where you had to use your hands like farmers walk, um, various other grip strength stuff, holding a Thor's hammer out, things of that nature. So those were, oh, and some of the deadlift stuff, but it always come down to grip. So when I finally did my first grip tournament, it was it just so happened to be all events that felt really good to me, and it was the only time I'd ever really got a yellow medal in any strength sport at all, except for powerlifting. So uh, grip is, of course, from a master's perspective, kind of like an evolution to the next level for us because some guys in their 50s, they've been through the powerlifting, the strongman, the various martial arts. They're a little injured up, got some shoulder issues, hip issues, maybe a torn tendon or two. And so grip allows us to both pursue strength and continue to focus our love for strength sport without having to go too deep into uh, bending bending your knees and back and some of those hip issues and knee issues that we've accumulated over the years. But it's still highly competitive, highly specialized, and there are guys, especially masters like myself, that we take it serious and we want to continue to compete because a lot of us also. I'm not the kind of guy who just works out. I don't go to the gym for a workout. I when I get my best results, I go to the gym to train for something, whether it's a power lift or a strongman or some sort of a fitness festival event like CrossFit, which I used to do many, many years ago. But I like to train specific. So it gives me a reason to go to the gym.
Well, I think that was very eloquently said, Rocky. I'm going to be 50 next year myself. And I too have my share of tendon surgeries and, various crippling nature injuries myself from my prior athletic pursuits. So I know the feeling. And when I first started doing the arm lifting training with Ode Haugen in 2014, I was like, oh, this is it. This is good. Right. And I had just turned 40 at the time, but I knew right away that, like you, I was better at grip stuff in the strongman. And I competed in shot put and discus for a long time and Highland games. And those Highland Games implements were so heavy, and I was like, "Oh my, ugh, we'll have to figure out something." And then Ode came with this, and I was like, "Oh, this is the one." So, yes, and I think, I'd like to use my health insurance a little less as well for athletically related injuries. So I think you've hit on something, and it's not a surprise that our masters division, both men and women, is growing quickly. And I'm excited that this is the first major championship that we can offer a masters 50 plus in the men's and the women's. And I think, within a year or two, you'll see a masters 50 plus and 60 plus. I really think that it's growing quickly, and studies have shown, there was just a recent study released, that grip strength, they went into a nursing home and they checked the grip strength of the people who living in the nursing home, and the people who had a better grip strength lives much longer. I really think there's something to the vitality of the people. And like you said, I don't just work out, right? I want to train for something. I want to be motivated for something. Just so you know, we're fresh. I have a meeting real soon next week with the people for the Arnold Classic. Well, where I'll get the times and what stages I have the uh, ability to run contests for the Arnold. But I'm 95% sure we'll have a Masters division in Columbus as well. Um, Given the interest. But I think almost certainly there'll be overwhelming interest at the Arnold. One other thing I'm excited about for this Mr. Olympia, as of today, we have 61 registered people. We had only 46 last year. So again, there'll be lots of people besides you and me lifting. It looks to be very fun.
Well, I would love
Go
for
ahead.
this sport, and that's exciting to me because I want to see this sport promoted and grown. Especially, I think it's a great next level for masters, like guys like us. But I also think that grapplers, wrestlers, and anybody involved in various martial arts, this should be their second sport, just like a track and field or powerlifting should be a second sport for a football player, um, and maybe racquetball and should be a second sport for a baseball player. Those kinds of things. There's no reason in the world why grapplers, wrestlers, judoka, and various other martial artists shouldn't be training, with the grip guys at their local gym on a regular basis. So I'm hoping to see uh, some growth in that realm as well.
Well, one person you have been quite impressed by, I'm sure, is Devin Lee Brown. And
Yeah.
Devin Lee does compete in various martial arts. I'm not even sure whatever he does, he wins. That's not a surprise to either you or me. The man is obscenely talented, but he is one person that takes that advice, because I know he competes in hand-to-hand combat sports. Um, the other demographic where Armlifting USA is really growing and we're starting to tap into are the rock climbers.
Ah,
And that's bad news for the rest of us bigger guys, because these rock climbers are small, light, agile, and obscenely strong. So there is just a new rock climber in Los Angeles. He's 165 pounds, and he almost he sent me training footage, 385 on a Collins axle. I mean, he lifted it all the way up, and then he just did a very quick lockout. I would have given it in a meet, but that's ridiculous for a 165-pound guy who is just started training these events.
it's a good
So
deadlift for a 165 guy on a regular bar.
yeah, well,
That's more than double.
well, exactly. So he'll be in Orlando. So we'll get to see some incredibly talented people there. Um, I'm looking forward to it. I think we're on track for the largest women's competition ever. We've got 22 entries for just the women alone. So I'm just head over heels happy with the amount of people that are going to turn out for this. So um, much thanks to you for joining me this morning for the interview. I'll see you in just a short 6 weeks' time. Good luck in your training. I hope your hand heals 100%, and get after it, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you very much, Ricardo, again, and looking forward to it.
All
We'll
right,
see
Rocky.
you soon.
We'll look forward to that Florida sun real soon. So have a good day, and I'll talk to you later.
Okay, bye-bye now.